busy day. Unwind and be inspired as you listen to the insights of empowerment psychic Halley Elise, a top 100 psychic, speaker, and author. Be sure to contact Halley Elise at halleyelise.com. And now, The Halley Elise Show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Glad you could join me again this week. Hope you had a fabulous Mother's Day. We did something a little different. My mom and I got together with my stepmother and stepsister, believe it or not, where we all get along really well, and went and painted and sipped on mimosas and had a ball. It was very funny how we are so critical of our own talents. We're sitting there with the paint and having a good time and eating and drinking, and everybody's looking at everybody else's art and everybody else is, oh my gosh, that's wonderful. And you look at your own and you're going, yeah, maybe not. Let me add a little something. Oh, wait, I shouldn't have added that. So it was kind of a fun day. But I hope whatever you did, you enjoyed. I know a lot of folks like to cook at home and stay at home, and we do that sometimes too, or go to a restaurant once in a while, which that one, not as crazy as about. It seems as if the holidays, I don't know, when it comes to restaurants, even though they are prepared with staff, there's always that hustle and bustle. It's not very relaxed. Food is usually great, but not very relaxed. So this was kind of a nice depart from the norm for us. And again, whatever you did, I hope you enjoyed. So here it is, Tuesday already. I was just thinking that the months are flying by. We say this every year when it gets to be about September, October, but truly, I don't believe that it's almost summertime. It's incredible how it just, poof, it was there. But it seems as if time is speeding up as we get older. And there is something said about that years ago in respect to science. Not only that, if we look at the hertz movement and sound of the earth, we find that there actually has been a change over the years, over the centuries. For instance, if you take a compass and you put it down, north doesn't always stay directly north. Sometimes there's a little wiggle to it, which is kind of interesting. That kind of tells you something's going on. So if you think it's been your imagination that time is speeding up, it's not your imagination. Then again, there are those of us like me who for some reason, have no concept of time. I realize it's a human construct that we've put together, because if we look at things from a spiritual perspective, from a quantum perspective, we know that everything happens at the same time. So you can be on your left and on your right at the same, or I should say in the same moment, which I know sounds really far-fetched. But if you start to study it, examine it a little bit, you'll take a look and go, isn't this interesting? We seem to exist on multiple planes at one time. Now, as far as the idea of time itself, again, humans came up with this man-made construct. For some reason, ever since I was a little child, when it comes to time, if I'm engrossed in something, there is no concept of what's going on. Yet, if you ask me what time it is, just out of nowhere, we're in the middle of a conversation, I tend to have an idea of what time it is. It's kind of a strange thing, right? So this morning, I'm bebopping around, I'm getting ready for my day, I'm taking some client calls, and I'm interacting with some folks, taking care of some things on the computer, glance at the clock, and I think it says 10 o'clock. I've got plenty of time, I don't have to worry about it. Well, unbeknownst to me, it was 11 o'clock. I thought, oh my gosh, I have to be at the station by noon. And then you get in the car, and I thought season was gone from this area. I think we just have more people here because a trip that used to be 5 to 7 minutes is 10 to 12 now. And I guess if it were fully in season, actually I need about 25 minutes. So I made out okay, all things considered. But that whole time thing, I went to a conference, what was it, last year or the year before, with one of the mastermind groups I connected with. And the main facilitator was saying that if you are on time, you're late. And I thought, what an awful thing to say. There's such a issue about getting there to begin with. But if you're on time, you're late. The philosophy is that you should always be early because then you're always on time. I got to work on that one a little bit. I was just thinking as I was driving here, must really start looking at things differently. So if I have to be somewhere, let's say at noon, perhaps I can set the clock for 11:30. Kind of mess with my own head a little bit. I know a lot of people do that with alarm systems. I'm curious today when you call in, tell me what you think in respect to the whole alarm waking up in the morning. Are you with it? Is time relative to you? I know there are some people like my mother. Her clock is always set ahead. She must be on time. If she's not on time, it's very disturbing to her. My thinking is as long as I'm on time for weddings and funerals, okay, and my clients, it's okay. I really do my best on the rest of it, but it doesn't always work out. All right, then, all that silliness aside, I believe we have a caller on the line, Lisa. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hello. How are you, Haley?
I'm good. Did you have a
Great.
specific question today?
Yes. My house, some guidance on when I should put my house up on the market.
Okay, as soon as you said house, I got the number 5. So what are we in? We are in May, June, July, August, September, October. I would, from the way this is feeling, I would say energetically, you're going to be stepping into a really constructive cycle as of next month. So I would look at June through September, October being, we'll say, the prime time to sell the house. What I would suggest doing, though, is really be selective about who you want as your broker. Because I feel like there's a couple of options, and my sense here is it's not the person that you think it is. If you want to do it independent on your own as a, by owner type of situation, that actually would
Definitely
behoove you.
not. I need help. Yeah.
Right. Well, this is the thing. If you're not going to go that route, the person that you've been considering, take another look around. I feel like there's actually somebody else who's better to help you. But as far as energetically, this month is not a great month to sell the house for you. I feel like
No.
this is actually a month where you need to be taking care of your health, where you need to be truly spending some time on resting, because I just feel like you've been kind of off kilter. A lot of things going on as far as physically, emotionally. It's just not the best time. The new cycle does start next month, but to me, the optimum time period would be August, September.
Place the house for sale. August,
Correct.
September. Okay.
Correct. You could do it a little before, and you will definitely get some inquiries, but the sense is this cycle runs from next month through October, and August, September, October, that last part of that cycle actually is the most prime to get things done in the most auspicious way.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you see me making money, or where would I be moving? Like what area?
Well, I see you doing more than breaking even, if that was the question in respect to making money. So
Yeah,
that's a
that's the
good
goal.
thing. As far as moving, it's really funny because I almost get the sense there's a hesitancy about letting go of the space and the idea of actually looking for another place. It's more like, can somebody just hand it to you? You'd be much happier if somebody just said, it's on the left down the street and there it is. You'd say, thank you very much. You're not really ready, but I do feel like you're going to go a little bit further east than where you're at now. And I feel like overall that's going to make you feel more content, because I feel like the ocean is very rejuvenating to you. You know, some people prefer mountains, oceans, different environments. Yours, though, is definitely the water. The water is something that you need. And I don't feel like you've had the opportunity to get there as often as you should. So
you hit it right on the head.
Thank you. I just feel like once you actually make this move, you'll find that you are feeling more invigorated. You'll find that you're more motivated also to reconnect with the water. In the interim, I'd love to suggest that you take a bowl of water, preferably purified water, into your bedroom and put a couple of drops of either jasmine or lavender or even vanilla into the water, and change it out every 1-2 nights. It feels like it will create a bit more peace within your space so you can actually rest better.
Jasmine, lavender, vanilla. Okay.
Yeah, any of those three I feel like would be of benefit to you. It's just, again, you need to take this time right now as best as you can, because I feel like you're so busy and you're overwhelmed, but you really need to take the time to have that mental vacation. Even if you can't get away, create a mental vacation. Even if that is something as simple as having a funny movie night for yourself, where you turn off everything and just put on funny movies and eat all your favorite foods. But you need to have a little bit of a downtime that I'm getting. You just really and truly, it's been push, and feeling like you're not getting anything done.
Yeah.
So kind of make a commitment to yourself. If you can do that, everything else is easy peasy.
Thank you so much.
All right.
What time do you speak until? Until 1:30?
Till 1 o'clock, from 12 to 1.
Okay, perfect. Have
All
a
right.
blessed week. Thanks, Haley.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's really fascinating to me how many people get so engrossed in what they're doing that self-care is put on the back burner. Very typical for moms in general, but very typical for our society today. And even when we think we're relaxing, we're not. How many people have a device in their hand, whether it's a tablet, a telephone, what have you? There's always something going on, some movement where our brains are on overload, our bodies are on overload. We're always dealing with that electric magnetic energy around us. We're always focusing on something. I have a dear friend who, when she relaxes, she plays games on the computer, but it's a mental diversion versus being focused on something that has to be done. It's more a matter of bringing joy. And we need to, as a race, bring more joy in short bursts. And what I mean by that is, if you have 5 minutes at work and you're going for a cigarette break, maybe you can make the cigarette break 2 minutes and spend 3 minutes on doing nothing but breathing, or sitting on a bench outside just looking at the trees and admiring the environment. Do something that creates a little break for yourself. And the more you do that, by the way, the better your own intuitive abilities are. The reason people don't hear as much as they should on a psychic level is not because they don't have the ability. It's because there is too much going on and they don't listen. Periodically, you'll hear someone say, I had a feeling about that, but, I thought it was ridiculous, or I didn't pay attention, or what have you. It didn't kind of fit into their day. If you get into the habit of creating peaceful moments, and it doesn't have to be long periods, just 2-3 minutes, you will find that your own awareness, your skills of observation even, are much broader. Take your eyes off of the computer, the tablet, the telephone, what other device, iPods. There's so many different things that we have available, which are great, and they help us in our world. But by the same token, they take away from our world. When's the last time you just met with somebody just to chat and sat down and didn't have any sort of device around you? Dr. Maya, who's my cohort at the office, she's got the Dr. Maya Clinic, and we're in the same suite. She often takes these trips where she'll go to a retreat in the mountains, and there is no reception, so it's kind of pointless to take your phone or anything else. She always comes back so invigorated, so refreshed, because she spends that time in nature. And what I'm suggesting is that you do the same. You take time out. If you can't do a month, you can't do a week, you can't even do 3 days, do a few minutes. Literally lift yourself up from whatever you're doing and take a few moments. Don't think in terms of I have to do, but think in terms of I have to be. I have to be present. I have to be in my body. I have to breathe. I have to be able to see what's going on in my world. So important. And we need to be doing that more. All right, then. We are going to take a short break. Are you not hearing me? No. I'm not being heard in the other room. We're going to take a short break. And we'll be right back. If you want to call in, it's 888-565-1470. That's 888-565-1470. This is your empowerment psychic, Halley, Elise, one of the top 100 psychics in America. For over 30 years, I have offered psychic readings, programs, spiritual guidance, and other life skill techniques. As our lives have become more complicated, we often reach for answers. Who are we? Where are we headed? Are we pointed in the right direction? In addition, we often are concerned for our loved ones. I have helped thousands of people navigate their life circumstances through different modalities of spiritual and intuitive guidance. Call me at 561-755-2166 and allow me to further explain how I may assist you in clearing the path of yesterday so today and tomorrow will be a success. Call me at 561-755-2166 or visit my site HalleyElise.com. That's HalleyElise.com.
You have been listening to a Top 100 Psychic, Halley Elise, your connection to all things spiritual, psychic, and empowering. For a private session, call 561-755-2166. Now, back to the Halley Elise Show and your empowerment psychic, Halley Elise.
Welcome back to the Halley Elise Show. If you're just tuning in, I do want to remind you we are here Tuesdays at noontime. You can hear us on 95.3 FM. Hopefully I said that correctly. We've been doing FM for a shorter period of time than the AM. The AM is 1470 AM. If you'd like to download the app, simply go to iHeart and download WNN. Also, you can find us on AMP2 TV Productions live on Facebook right now. So if you were online and you didn't see the live feed, I'll be candid, I've just not had the time to set it up for my personal page, but we are live on AMP2, which is AMP2, the number 2, TV Productions on Facebook. As well, you can find us on Twitter and a myriad of other stations. So you have the TV presence as well as being able to listen on air. I do want to add to that, if you are looking to really get some exposure for your business, this is a great way to do it. Contact me. I'll be happy to share sponsor information because truly you get hundreds of thousands of listeners and viewers versus the maybe a couple of thousand that you might do through the normal networking. So once again, if you have an interest in advertising your business, obviously it has to be congruent with what we do. So mortuaries may not be the place, but you never know. If we're talking about the afterlife, it could be something. I'm just teasing. As I said, feel free to reach out to me, and you can reach me at 561-755-2166. Now, we had 2 people on the phone. I'm just trying to remember the first one. Hold on one second. Susan, yes, I believe. Yes, okay.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, well, I'm a little concerned about a few things, which is why I'm calling you.
All right, then. Did you have a specific question that you wanted to address?
Well, it's more specifically my health. I'm not experiencing anything really bad, but I've got a feeling, and I'm reluctant to go to the doctor because I don't want to get loaded up with pills and get a lecture about my weight. You know, I know I'm overweight. Let's move on. And telling me about it isn't going to make it go away. Let's move on.
Here's the thing, though. Is
very stressful situation at work, too, and I don't know if that's affecting me.
Okay, Susan, so as soon as you said doctor, what I heard was stomach, which tells me that your digestive system, now this is about health, this is not about weight, because honestly, somebody can be lean and trim on the outside and have issues going on the inside. So it's not always what it looks like on the outside. Follow me so far? That being said, I get the sense that digestive-wise, you're not moving things through, which to me feels like you're maintaining some toxicity in your system, which is affecting your system overall. Anytime our system is more acidic versus alkaline, we are prone to illnesses because it's a perfect environment. So the lethargy that I feel like that you're experiencing, some of the aches and pains that you're experiencing, I get some restlessness as far as sleep. A lot of that, believe it or not, feels like it's happening in your digestive system. So if you don't want to go, let's say, to a mainstream Western medicine physician, maybe give some thought to a holistic practitioner who could take a look at that for you. That's the first part. The second part of that is I get the sense that, and you may think I'm bananas, but I'm going to say it anyways, you don't have enough of the right fat in your diet. So to me, right fat would be Avocado, right? Fat would be coconut oil, butter periodically, but more of those types versus vegetable oil or other types of fats in the diet. So
Okay.
take a look at that. See if you can't slightly modify that. It feels like that would be very helpful.
Okay.
Okay. I am going to preface, obviously, I'm not a physician. I don't have any medical training. So you always need to defer to your own judgment as well as your professional. But what I can tell you psychically is a lot of what's going on with you is more within the intestinal health than it is anything else. So if that can get on track, you'll find a lot of the things that you're experiencing are going to lessen. And the other thing, though, that I get about this is because to me it's as if toxicity, in other words, food that's digested is not completely moving out of the system. That can affect other organs. And that's where you have to be concerned because obviously if those other organs aren't functioning as well as they could be, then all sorts of things can happen on a health level. So truly give some thought, not about so much weight, but as far as digestion, as far as intestinal health and care. I would also suggest get some more liquids into your diet. And again, right types of liquids, which I don't think is your favorite, but maybe make an effort. So for instance, if you have a glass of soda as an example, maybe have a half a glass of water a short while after. So it kind of equilibrates it. Because these are things that are minute changes that you can do, and it can make a difference on how you're feeling.
Okay.
Okay? All right. As far as work goes, oh boy. I kind of feel like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place right now because I don't get you being able to just pick up and leave. And yet I feel like a lot of this is not within your control. Truly, the only thing that is truly in your control at this moment is how you interact with things that are going on. So that being said, simply means when somebody's being nasty, instead of going into that place of being on the defensive, perhaps you can go into a place in your head where it's more the thought of, poor soul, they don't know any better. Next, like create a different program in your head itself so that you are not as responsive. Because I feel like you are reactive to everything going on and you're hypersensitive too, which on one hand is really good because that means that for your friends and loved ones, you tend to be very compassionate and sensitive. But it's bad in the work situation because you're taking everything as it's an attack towards you. The workload's an attack, the people are an attack, the environment, it's just what I'm getting is discomfort all the way around. And what I would like to suggest here is we're in, what are we in? We're in May. Yes, June, July, August, September, October, November. Okay, so at the end of the year, almost December, I would say at that point, that's going to be the right time for you to take a look at doing something else. If you can hold on till then, in December, you'll be able to make a change that's going to lift your spirits all the way. But the biggest change for now that I'm getting is being able to put your head into a different place so you're not taking things so personally. As far as the money compensation, too, I feel like there's anxiety about that. There's that sense of not being gratified for the level of work that you're doing. Perhaps you can take a look at that and say, okay, this is where I am at in this moment, but I know it's getting better because I'm not going to be here permanently. And really start to convince yourself of that. If you can put forth that effort, I promise it will be easier. It's not going to be perfect, but it definitely will be easier. And then again, when end of the year, end of November, December starts to roll around, that's when really start talking to everybody, sending out resumes, looking, what have you. You will find that at that point, it's easy to make a transition into something much better.
Okay.
All right, my friend?
Yes. Thank you so very much.
You're very welcome. But think one more thing before you get off the phone. Think in terms of this is within your control, even with the health, because I get a little swelling too as far as the extremities with the feet and the legs. Try not to eat anything past, let's say, 9 o'clock. Even if it's a snack, try to be conscious of it so that your digestive system can do what it needs to do. And you may just want to Google certain good habits for the digestive system. Because again, I'm not a physician. This is just coming in as far as intuitively. But what I truly sense is if you can modify that, you're going to feel so much better all the way around.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Okay, have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Thanks. I believe we have Jerry on the line. Is that correct?
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How about yourself?
I've been worse and I've been better.
Okay, fair enough. Was there a specific question you want to address? Because what pops up for me right away has to do with relationship, but is there something else that you specifically wanted to address?
Well, that's true. Relationship, yeah, and also my health.
Okay. Relationship, it's a ball of wax there, meaning volatile, meaning uncertain as far as what that next place is going to be. Truly, and please don't take this as any, we'll say, intent other than what it's meant as. If you want to be happier overall, the relationship has to change. And that means perhaps walking away. And I know that's never easy. Exactly. So
Yeah, no,
so this is
I'm 75 years old and 15 years in love.
right.
15-year-old in love.
Here's the thing, though. Things don't change on their own. And I know you know this intellectually, but I feel like emotionally you keep running into that same pattern over and over and over. And even though this relationship has been for more than a decade, it's, to me, feels very similar to the relationship you had previously. Different person, obviously, but as far as the dynamics. And if you are insistent on staying, that means then you have to make a change within yourself to make things better. Because you can't change somebody else. And again, I know you know this. I'm not telling you something you don't know. What I would like to strongly suggest is actually sitting down and saying, look, this is what my needs are. This is how I would like them to be met. And then be open to listening to them saying the same. And see if you can't perhaps set something up where you do a check-in with each other once a week to literally evaluate, how do you think this week went? Because otherwise you're going to have more of the same. And I feel like you get to be the caregiver. That makes sense?
Yeah. Okay, how about the health?
Okay, as far as the health, that is something you can work on. Actually, I get a very positive feel here. If you do what you're supposed to do, you're going to be around a lot longer than you think. Okay, all kidding aside, I get a really good feeling when it comes to your health. It's just, don't be so stubborn. Allow yourself to say, okay, I need to do this and I'm going to do it. Because I feel like you tend to be resistant to advice, whether it's from friends and family or medical. You kind of like to do things on your own. You're a very independent person. You really don't like to be told what to do. And yet, if you make, here again, some changes, I feel like you're going to be around for a long time, and you can overcome anything that's going on with you right now. I am going to say specifically, I feel like blood sugar needs to be addressed. And that means being more cognizant of your choices as far as what times, for instance, that you're eating. Not so much the diet, but the times, so that you don't spike. And I don't know enough about that to advise you, but I'm sure you could find it online or even ask a physician. And they would be able to say, yes, if you eat at this hour versus that hour, this is the type of response that you could have. But I feel like that is a part of what's going on. Because trying to get what it's called. Wow. Drawing a blank, but it has to do with a hormone in the system being elevated when it shouldn't be. I'm just going to strongly suggest that you look up best times to eat to maintain blood sugar level. See what you come up with.
Okay. I don't have a problem with high. If I have blood sugar, it's always low.
Yeah, okay. But again, I feel like here's the thing, though. The one thing that I do know, and I, again, do not have a medical background here, so this is what I'm sensing as far as psychically, and that is I know that certain foods, certain times of the day, who we are, body chemistry, all of those things come into play. If your blood sugar is consistently low, then you may need to, for instance, eat more meals more frequently to bring it back up. And again, this is why I'm saying maybe do a little research on your own here to find out what are the best times to eat to help maintain. As well, I'm going to make a suggestion. do a little research on cinnamon. Check with your doctor. Make sure that's advisable.
I use cinnamon already. Yeah.
Okay.
They're very good. Very good.
Because
I'm very much into nutraceuticals, as they call them today.
Wonderful.
I hate that word, but
wonderful.
Vitamins and minerals and all that stuff.
Okay. So the other thing that I get here, since you're open to those types of things, take a look at seeds. Certain seeds, SEEDS. Certain seeds have enormous value with helping to maintain our overall body systems. Maybe look up good seeds to eat for blood sugar. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but that's what's coming through.
No, that's absolutely. Okay, one more question if you don't mind.
Sure, go
I
ahead.
just had a hernia operation that was very complicated because it was so big. And seemed to be not recovering real fast.
To me, it's interesting because it feels like it has more to do with your ability to walk comfortably than it is the healing. But I feel like the healing process is taking a bit longer because you don't like to be still. You like to be active, which is a good thing. And yet, right now, you need to allow yourself to be babied. Also, are you familiar with working with healing energy? Whether it is IMAR or Access or Reiki or Reconnective?
I have a very good friend who is a Reiki master, and I don't know about people ever tried it, but I'm going to tell you what, it works on me real good. I mean, I can be in pain, muscle pain or stomach pain or whatever.
And it makes a difference.
Just puts his hands and it's unbelievable.
Right. So perhaps talk to your friend. See if maybe you can make some arrangement for them to come over 3 times a week till the hernia operation site and your ability to move feels better. In the interim, I'm going to suggest that before you even get out of bed in the morning, use your right hand on top and your left hand behind the area and just focus on healing coming through from the top of your head, moving down through your body, through your arms, into your hands, into the area so that it creates harmony in that space. Because what I feel like, again, is, you're a very active person, which is great, but you have to allow the body a little bit of time to catch up. I'm going to also suggest there's a prayer that's used by the Hunakane in Hawaii that has to do with, I love you, I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I want to give you a variation on that, which is, I thank you, I am in peace, I love you. So when you take your hands and actually put them on your body, think, I thank you, I am in peace, I love you. It doesn't matter what order, but the idea is to create a healing vortex within that space so it maximizes your healing.
Okay, now when you said put your hands on top and on the bottom, you mean underneath my body?
Correct. So, for instance, if I were dealing with my belly button, as an example, my navel, I would put my right hand on the top part, wherever the navel actually is, and then I would put my left hand in the back area. So, and you can do it for a moment. It doesn't have to be for an extended period. The idea is to just get into the right space.
Right, I understand. Absolutely, okay.
All right, Jerry.
Okay, give me those words again. I love you.
I am in peace.
I'm in peace. I love you, and
I thank you.
I thank you.
Because what you're doing...
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, you got it. Thank you. Feel good.
Okay.
Bye-bye. So for anybody listening out there, if you're experiencing something, this is something that you can do for yourself. And this is without any sort of heavy-duty training as far as energy work. Now, granted, when you do go for training, you understand better why certain things work, how they work, different techniques. There are a myriad of ways to handle things. But you're more powerful than you may realize. So, for instance, if, let's say, your knee is bothering you, put your hands on either side and focus. I love you. I thank you. I am at peace. The idea is to be filling that space with such a healing, loving energy that the body responds even better than what it would do on its own. And I think it's likened to using any sort of medication that would help you, we'll say, enhance the ability to get better. So, for instance, arnica, it's a natural type of treatment. A lot of doctors now are giving it out to patients to take before they have surgery. We've used arnica topically for many, many years. So it's something that's familiar, but it's supposed to help the body recover. Our energy that exists within our own body can do the same if we're focused on it. Now, if you're focusing on healing that knee, for instance, and you have your hand on either side, and your mind goes to, oh, I wish this would get better, and I'm not feeling good, and there's pain, well, what you're doing then is not good, because you're moving that energy from the divine and from yourself into the area that is affected. So that will make it worse. You want to do the opposite. You want to focus on it feeling well. And if you're thinking, well, I don't know how to do this stuff, it's too difficult, I don't want to go to a class. The truth is, you already have the ability within you. In the same way that you already have that inner knowing, that psychic ability, mother's intuition, whatever verbiage you want to use to describe that connectedness to the divine, it's already there. And that includes the ability to heal. When somebody is sad in our life, we often go and give them a hug. It is not just the physical hug, even though the hug is very important, and science has shown us that hugs are amazing to help us on so many levels. Yet, it is the energy that is connected. So when we are giving somebody a hug that we care about, we are sharing love with them. Love is a healing energy. Love exists within us because light, a lot of times people hear the expression light workers. It simply means that it's an expression of love. We are connected with the divine, and that gives us a power to heal ourselves and others. I'm not suggesting that all of a sudden you run out and say, I'm a healer, come here, and put your hands over someone. You could, but I think you might want to work on it a little bit first. Practice on yourself. If you have a headache, if your toe aches, whatever it is, you'd be amazed at how strong your mind is and how strong your own energy is that exists within. All right, we have another caller on the line. I believe it's Kelly. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
It's Kelly. I'm fine, thank you. I generally tend to ask a question, but this time I'm just going to let you see if you feel anything in my life or what is going on in my life.
Fair enough. The first thing that pops up for me is a lot of movement, a lot of travel, movement within the house, movement out of the house. I just feel like you are in a cycle that has to do with being nonstop. So to me, when I say movement in the house, this literally could be moving walls, changing furniture, redoing yards, but that constant activity. As far as outside, though, I get a lot of opportunity, I'd say, within the next 6 months here to do quite a bit of traveling. And it's not necessarily going abroad for months on end, but more a matter of there is a jaunt to the Keys, there is a jaunt to the West Coast, there is a jaunt here, a jaunt there, but there's a lot of opportunity for travel. And I don't get you going by yourself.
Okay. That's good.
Now,
yes.
I was going to say that this is also a time of a lot of social activity for you that's going to be coming out of the woodwork. So you need to remember to say no once in a while. Don't overdo it. And I don't mean to be funny because, again, I get you just going, like the Energizer Buddy. Right. Sometimes it's okay to say no.
Okay.
Okay. And I cut you off. I apologize. What was it that you wanted to ask?
I just, as always, would like to know if anything's going to go on in my love life. Or that we all care about that.
Some people don't, believe it or not. I've actually had a couple of folks come to me to the office and say, well, that part of my life is over. And I laugh because what I sense usually is it's right around the corner. As soon as they say they're finished, it's like, poof, there it is. Okay, for you, because of all this activity, because of all this, if you will, running around and social interaction, there is somebody new coming in, but you also have somebody old who's still in your life. And you're going to have to make a determination if you want to go backwards or forward. I will say that going backwards, there's a bit of comfort connected to it. And yet we'll say the familiar aches and pains of the relationship are still there.
Okay.
Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Because I want you to recognize for yourself, this should not be about just accepting because you know what it feels like. It should be about what's going to make your heart happiest. So please keep that in mind. I'm not saying that the person from before is bad in any way. It's just, again, those aches and pains, I'm going to just be blunt here. You don't connect on what I would consider some intrinsic levels that are important to you. And that aspect of who that person is not changing.
That's very insightful. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I really appreciate it. And I'm going to take your advice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Sure. Bye-bye.
All right, then. It's really interesting when it comes to relationships, especially if there's that heart connection. How many people do you know can be involved with somebody because their heart's there? They genuinely love that person. They genuinely want them to be good. They feel good when they're in their company because of how they feel about them, and yet so often they don't get along. Meaning, you can sit in a room with someone and not have a conversation. You can sit in a room with someone and care for them, yet feel as if your needs are not being met. That's something to really take a look at. If you're with someone, there really should be joy. There should be communication. There should be great interaction in the bedroom. There should be all of these things. You don't have to necessarily get along perfectly in the sense of what you believe. You don't have to get along perfectly in the sense of what you think your life is supposed to be in the future. Though, in the present, doesn't it make sense to be in the company of somebody who's going to make you smile? For whatever reason. And we have to consider, too, a lot of people come into our life for the moment. They come into our world so that we connect with them for whatever that moment means. Sometimes it's to remind us that, yes, we can love. Sometimes it's to remind us that other people do care about us. Sometimes it's to remind us that old feelings can be stirred again. Or it could be something totally different, such as on a soul level, it's just to say hello. It is simply a matter of connecting with that person so that you can say, I'm here. There's another human being that cares for you. It's really not always about the romance. I find it interesting when people ask about soulmates because we assume that there is only one. It's not really true. There are many people that come into our lives that are soulmates. Not all of them come in for the specific of romance. Or I should say for the specific purpose of romance. Oftentimes, a soulmate comes into our life to push our buttons, and they enter through the romance. So, for instance, you find somebody you're so attracted to, and you get together with them, and you think it's a wow, oh my gosh, the most amazing experience I've ever had. And you spend time with them, and then you start to realize, wow, they never stop talking. Or, oh my gosh, their hearing is off and I have to turn everything down because it hurts my ears. I'm giving silly little examples, but you can understand that it's not always just about I'm meeting this soulmate because this person is supposed to be my life romantically for the rest of my life. Not always the case. So what I would love to suggest to everybody listening and to watching is really think in terms of when you're with somebody, do you love them and do you like them? And it's really a fine line there because sometimes you can truly love somebody but not like them, or truly love someone yet feel that being in their company is not serving you. So something to consider. We're going to take a brief break. And when we return, if you'd like to call in, please do. It's 888-565-1470. That's 888-565-1470. Thank you. Hi, it's Halley, Elise, your empowerment psychic, and it's time to take a few moments from your busy day, unwind, and be inspired as you listen to Insights. I am a top 100 psychic, speaker, and author. And And I invite you to join me Tuesdays noontime on WNN Radio. I look forward to speaking with you.
You have been listening to a Top 100 Psychic, Halley Elise, your connection to all things spiritual, psychic, and empowering. For a private session, call 561-755-2166. Now, back to the Halley Elise Show and your empowerment psychic, Halley Elise.
Welcome back. If you're first tuning in today, it's just been talking about lots of different things with different people and sharing some viewpoints here. The biggest thing for me, though, when I speak with you is to remind you that you are an empowered being. You have the ability to change anything that's going on in your world, and I truly believe that. I know a lot of people think, no, you don't understand, this is what's going on, I have no control, or it's a matter of finance, or it's a matter of age. It comes down to, where's your head? All kidding aside, because the more you focus on something, the more it expands. This is why visionaries, when they come up with an idea, they spend so much time and energy at building it. So for instance, if somebody was going to create a theme park, they wouldn't just say, oh, yeah, I'm going to make a theme park. They would go, I'm going to make a theme park, and there's going to be a water slide, and there's going to be an animal section, and there's going to be an arts and crafts section, and they may add a plethora of things to this idea and then start to elaborate on each and every aspect of it. Because again, the more you focus on it, it expands. If you then start talking to other people about this theme park and they get excited, they start talking to other people. Everybody starts to get involved. Everybody's energy starts to make it grow, starts to make it into a reality. The same thing is true in our personal life, in your personal life. If there's something going on and you're thinking you just can't, it's impossible, then you're right. If you continue to think that way, it's silly to even give forth any effort, because the truth is, if you want something to happen, if you want to make a change, you have to allow yourself to do something beyond the normal. If your normal routine is getting up in the morning and, let's say, brushing your teeth, taking a walk, having your meal before you do whatever you need to do, and during your walk, you're thinking about all the things that you can't get done, your day is not going to be very productive. It really isn't. What if you changed your routine? What if instead of you taking a walk, you perhaps take a swim, and as you swim, you do nothing but think about how amazing the water feels? Just that alone can make a huge difference. Think in terms of shaking it up. If you're finding, I'm going to try to simplify this so this will make more sense without going into huge details in respect to manifestation. If you're thinking about something in your world right now that you would like to see better, whether it's life circumstance or it's something that you're working on that you want to see improved or come to manifestation, you want to see come into being, whatever you're doing, if it's not working, stop. Really, stop. Take a day off. Do something completely different. And then the following day, go into a space of gratitude. I'm so grateful I had a wonderful day off. I'm so grateful I did this. I'm so grateful I did that. Get into that space of gratitude. Look at what you're working on with new eyes. You may just find that there's different inspiration there. As well, people start to show up because people are drawn to other people that put out energy. If you're excited about something, somebody's going to pick it up. If you're in love with an idea, somebody's going to pick it up. If you are desiring something, somebody's going to pick it up. People are sensitive to other people even when they're not aware of it. Just something to consider. I believe we have a Sheila on the line. Hello.
Halley, yes, it's Sheila. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
My get up and go got up and went.
I was waiting for that. That's not a lot of fun. Well, I don't have a very restful sleep. It's more like you crash and then there's movement in your sleep pattern. There's not really a lot of rest. I'm getting, quite a few things here. Well, first off, you're a worrywart. You have to stop that. It's easy for me to say, but really and truly, you anticipate all sorts of things because you want everything to go smoothly and right, but it's keeping you busy even in your sleep time. It's almost what I'm getting overwhelming to the physiological. It's like the emotional and mental are overshadowing the physical body. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. That being said, I want to make a little suggestion of using a tool that works really well to help with this. Whether you do it when we get off the phone or later, but get something to write with and get a piece of paper and start writing. Write down every single thing that you have been worried about. I mean, if it takes an hour, great. If it takes 3, great. If it takes 10 minutes, whatever it is. But all the things that keep popping into your head, put it all down. And then go back and look at it. So I'm going to give an arbitrary example. Let's say the first one says, having to work past the time that you want to work and you'd love to retire, but you can't. Look at that and instead say, but what if I could? What would it look like if I could?
Right.
And write that down. And do that with each one. So what that does for you is it starts to neutralize that negative charge that is constantly disrupting your physical energy and your emotional energy and starts to create some calm, starts to create some harmony.
Right. Okay.
When you're done with that, instead of going back and going, oh, but what if, and, but it's not realistic, go do something that makes you smile, whether it's dancing around the house or it's having a glass of wine or it's calling your best friend, doesn't matter, but go do something that actually puts you into a good frame of mind. And what this does literally is it starts to take that angst that's around you that's so heavy and lightens it.
Right.
And you might want to make a routine every 3-4 days or every week to do this till you find that so much of what you've been concerned about doesn't have to have as much concern. And I'm going to give an example. Taking the car to the shop, and again, just an arbitrary example, but taking the car to the shop because it's making noise. If your head goes to, oh my gosh, it's probably the alternator, and if it's the alternator, then it might be, the carburetor, and it's, it's going to be $2,000, and I just don't have that $2,000, but it's the car right now. And you get yourself worked up before you're even there, most probability says, or most likely, I should say, says that you've put so much energy into that, even if it's something small, you're still going to be upset about it. Whereas, if you're looking at something and you're saying, okay, I don't know what this is going to run, and I'm not really thrilled that I have to do this, yet I'm going to go in with a positive attitude and hope for the best outcome.
That's me. I am always in the gratitude zone, and I'm always praying, and somehow more work comes up to pay for it, or something happens, and money appears
shifts
through jobs I didn't think I had. So yeah, I'm big on that.
Okay.
Definitely.
The thing though is not worrying and not being concerned as much on a regular basis, because what you're doing with the gratitude and allowing yourself to go into that space is shifting it in that moment till the next thing comes up though. So what I'm suggesting with the writing on the paper is getting into such a energetic vortex of good constantly showing up that the worry lessens, that the concern lessens, that there is more that shows up in your world on a consistent basis that creates that sense of peace. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I used to be into doing the journaling and the notes and all that. So yes, I follow you. Thank you.
All right, honey. Get back to that really and truly. Put it in your calendar, set an alarm so that you stay with it. If you do that, you will notice that things start to shift in a huge way, and you're going to find your get up and go came back.
And may I also ask you, do you feel you pick up anything on moving, residential-wise moving?
I feel like it's something you really, really want to do, but if you can wait another 3-4 months to really anticipate, that would be better.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you so much for calling in.
I appreciate it. Thank you much.
Okay. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Take care, everyone. Have a great week. And we'll be back next week on Tuesday with the Halley Elise Show.
Tune in every Tuesday on WNN at noon for an hour of peace, inspiration, and psychic phenomena with empowerment psychic Halley Elise. And be sure to visit HalleyElise.com. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management,